video several times. You're seeing it for the first time, but I've attempted it probably 8 different times or so. So, with that being stated, I tried to use the pop mic, this pop mic here, and it does not work with this tablet, my Galaxy Tab A. So, not sure why, but it doesn't work with it. So, I decided to just use the built-in mic on the tablet and go with that. I guess I could have used a Bluetooth earbud, but I didn't. So, several things I want to talk about. I need to get my phone. I need to get another phone. I'll have to get some pictures and stuff and audio out of my mama's phone. But in order to do so, I have to text it to mine. And mine's completely out of storage. So that's impossible. So I'll have to get me another phone. And on top of that, they're requiring my parents to shift to another phone. So I'll have to do all of that before the month is up. So probably have to do that before, probably next month. So, which my birthday's August 3rd anyway, so I'll just, maybe that's what I'll do then. I have to pay on it on time if I do that, like overtime and pay install payments, because, yeah, phones are so expensive now, but I decided to use this here, this, book. I have not read it yet, but we got it actually cheaper than that, but, this was, Andrew Jackson and the Miracle of New Orleans, or Nolans, as they call it there, Nolans, the battle that shaped America's destiny. I don't read that much, but yet books anyway, but yet I like the sound that books make. You can see right there. There's the American flag and the British flag. No one appreciates history anymore like they should. If it weren't for the sacrifice of the past, you and I would not be here right now. And then basically what this book is if you take, it smells like a classic book, but it looks like a World Book Encyclopedia without the cover. This is the United States and its boundaries during the War of 1812. Right there. Originally, this was a $28 book, and then it was $5. Jackson, whom they mistrusted as a stubborn and crude Westerner, was outperforming the War Department's military strategists. His troops both loved and feared him. He was fearless in battle, but not reckless. And so, on June 18th, 1814, Militia General Jackson was promoted to Major General of the regular U.S. Army. And I want to read this little bit of tidbit of information here. The War of 1812 saw America threatened on every side. Encouraged by the British Indian tribes, attacked settlers in the West, while the Royal Navy terrorized the coast by mid-1814. President James Madison's generals had lost control of the war in the North, losing battles in Canada. The British troops set the White House ablaze, and a feeling of hopelessness spread across the country. Into the dire situation stepped Major General Andrew Jackson, a native of the state of Tennessee, who had witnessed the horrors of the Revolutionary War and Indian Native American attacks. He was glad America had finally decided to confront repeated British aggression, but he feared that President Madison's men were overlooking the most important strategy target of all, New Orleans, or Nolans, as it is there. British conquered New Orleans, they would control the mouth of the Mississippi River, cutting Americans off from the essential trade route and threatening previous decades of Louisiana Purchase. The nation's dreams of Western expansion could be crushed before they really got set off of the ground. Before we ever even got ourselves off the ground, it could be completely destroyed. So, Jackson faced 3 enormous challenges. He had to convince President Madison and his War Department to take him seriously, even though he wasn't one of the well-educated Virginians and New Englanders who had dominated the government. He had to assemble a coalition of frontier militiamen, French-speaking Louisianians, Cherokee and Choctaw Native American Indians, freed slaves, and even some pirates. And he had to defeat the most powerful military force in this world, in the confusing terrain of the Louisiana bayous. In short, Jackson needed a miracle. The local Ursuline nuns set to work praying for his outnumbered troops, and so the Americans, driven by patriotism and protected by prayer, began the battle that would shape our young nation's destiny. They did it in their 2 previous bestsellers. As they did in their 2 previous bestsellers, Kilmeade and Yeager made history come alive with riveting true history that will keep you turning the pages. You'll finish with a new understanding of one of America's greatest generals, who later became one of our most controversial presidents. And you'll have a renewed appreciation for the brave men who fought so that America could one day stretch from sea to shining sea. And these are the authors there, the co-authors. They're the co-authors of George Washington's Secret Six, Thomas Jefferson's and Thomas Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates. Both the New York Times bestsellers. Kilmeade co-hosts Fox News Channel's morning show and Fox and Friends host The Brian Kilmeade Show on the Fox News Radio. He lives in Long Island. Yeager has written or co-written 26 books and lives in Florida. This book was written and released in, let's see, what year was this book written? Let's see. I'm trying to find out the year this was actually released. Can't believe I can't find the year it was released. I'll do some bassy sounds of this book by itself sometimes so that you can hear it completely just by itself instead of any talking. I got this in a Walmart section of books that were actually, Mama looked at it and she picked it up, and I was like, yeah, let's get this. And Mama was going to get it anyway, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, people need to know history. If it weren't for the hard-working struggle of the people of the past, we would never have what we have today. If not for them, if not for the sacrifice of those of the past. Riveting history that reads like a stay-up-all-night thriller. Don't miss this book. That was Brad Thorne, author of Use of Force. Brian Kilmeade, who has a gift of narrative and intuitive feel for great stories, has written an exciting account of New Orleans and how that battle changed America down the decades. John Meckham, author of Thomas professor of history, Rice University, author of Rightful Heritage. A tale as improbable as it is spellbinding, told with deft touch and insightful clarity. Brian Kilmeade has done it again. General Stanley McChrystal, U.S. Army, retired, author of Team of Teams. Brad Meltzer says, who's the author of The President's Shadow, a wild page-turning history of one of America's most fascinating battles, and Jay Winnick, the author of April 1865 and 1944, says, the scholarship is impeccable, the topic immensely important to the story masterfully crafted. This little gem of a book belongs on the bookshelf of every American and every history buff. What a triumph. Kilmeade shows how the patriotism of Jackson and his generation made America great in the first place. A terrific read. Jane Hampton Cook, presidential historian, wrote that, author of The Burning of the White House. And the reader gets an inkling of the grit that made America great. That was written by Eric Prince, author of Civilian Warriors. You see there, the soldier with the lantern there, the guy with the lantern. The Sentinel